you know, in your time at Oxford, you know, grew up in Dudley, McDonald's crew member, against all odds made it to Oxford, and then boom, like see a picture of you and Malala chilling, and like that's become your best friend, and it's like, you know, clearly a really genuine and amazing relationship. And then you go to Harvard, you do your thing, and we're definitely going to tap into like what your experience at both universities were. Then boom, like you and Yara are close friends. You guys are like out in Paris like a week or two ago. And yeah, I'm super interested in, you know, those are two global phenomenons of young women, and you're one in your own right, which is, you know, crazy. I'm really interested in, you know, those are three young women from different parts of the world. What is it that brings you guys together? How did you form those relationships? Because I think, you know, so many people are like, oh, I want a network of high value people. I want a network of high value people. And it's like very, I don't know, like authentic and transactional versus like for you, you can tell that these are like people you really do life with. And I'd love to know kind of how those relationships came about, how you guys support each other, because you guys have such a unique experience as young women in three different fields, but with the whole world looking at you. And yeah, I'd love to know what those like those sisterhood convos are like.
Those are really good questions, and those are my sisters. You're right. Like, I think that I always say my two best friends, Josh and Malala, are like my soulmates because
Shout out Josh too. Josh is good vibes. That
love
boy can
Josh.
dance.
I know,
And he's hilarious. Yeah.
I know. He's the best. I feel like they're my soulmates, and we met at Oxford at a time where, you know, difficult environment. Like, you're trying to do really, really well because you know that the world is watching, whether it's the world of your family for Josh or whether it's the world for Malala or whatever. You still feel that pressure of like wanting to do well because this is an institution that's so world renowned. So I think when you're in that space, if you can make those relationships that carry you through it, they become your people for life. And Malala and I met when we were at university in a space where I had just began doing YouTube, and I was like running around with ITV, BBC, doing all this stuff. And obviously she's running around with the world, right? So it's like, oh, I can relate to you. We understand each other. And randomly our bedrooms were put next door to each other. You know how it is at Cambridge, right? Like they just assign you whatever and you get on with it. And we're like, oh my gosh, we're roommates. This is so cool. So we would then just have breakfast, lunch, dinner together all the time. Then there's the layer of, oh, I get it. Like I understand it's the Hannah Montana lifestyle that we're living at uni of lectures by like 12, quickly get changed, on a train to London, being on TV, right? It's like, whoa, this is a bit of a strange experience, but she's going through it too. She's like going to Davos for like World Economic Forum talk or whatever with all these big people, then coming back to uni to be like, I got homework. We got it and understood it. And it was like we would lean on each other on that because it's awkward. It's really awkward. Like your friends have just watched you on TV. You just had an article out in a magazine that they read, and I had to go have lunch with them, and it's like, and then they want to bring it up and you're like, no, let's not talk about it. And it's an odd space, but with her and I, it's like, oh girl, I get it. I just saw you on Vogue. I just saw you on BBC. Oh, this is really cool. So we kind of really became each other's backbones for that because it was an awkward time to navigate at uni. And there's this thing, I don't know what it is with young people, like you just get awkward about what you do. It's like, yeah, you did see me on the news, you should just stand in it, but it's awkward, it's weird, you feel embarrassed in a way. So we just could be ourselves with each other. So we would just team up a lot, and I love doing YouTube. She would like come on my channel, Josh would come on my channel, and I didn't feel awkward, and I was like, finally. So we bonded from there, and I think that's for life, right? Like you don't go through an experience like that and then be like, okay, you need to stand by. No, this is for life, right? And then obviously the same again with Yara. Like we're at uni, at Harvard, we're in a pandemic, doing stuff on Zoom, we're in classes together, and I'm like, bro, this class is strange, like, do you feel what I'm feeling? She's like, bro, let me FaceTime you. And you become besties because it's like, oh, I get you. So it was never like, oh my God, I'm going to sit at home and like intentionally seek these people out. It's like, oh, I've bumped into you in the same space, going through the same thing. And we once again, I was like, oh, you get it. Like you're in that space similar in a way. So you connect and bond over that. And it's just beautiful to be able to be yourself with people that you also respect and are inspired by. I don't have to look far to be like, oh my God, who's going to be my role model, or who do I find inspirational? I just look in my phone book. Like my best friends are the people that motivate me. And yeah, it's beautiful because we just see each other as equals. It's like, you're my sister and I'm going to lean on you for this, and you're my sister, I'll lean on you for that, and I know you get it. There's no judgment. There's no, what's your intention? Why are you here? Like, what's the underlying reason? Is it clout? Is it this? It's like, oh no, like, I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Let's do it together. So, yeah, I think it's beautiful. And it's funny, me and Yara were just talking about that in Paris. Like, bro, like, can you believe we've gone from like being on Zoom to like hanging out in Boston to being in Paris to like going to London? Like, this is beautiful what connection can happen when you just get each other. So yeah, it's beautiful and it's great. And I think everyone should have a sisterhood. Like I said it before, give people their flowers. Like, don't look at numbers, or I don't know what people measure each other on, but it's like, if I like what you're doing, we're in the same space and I can learn from you, you can learn from me. That's mode for collaboration and mode for supporting each other. Never do it just because something's going to come out of it, right? So like, I shouldn't just comment on your stuff because I'm like, one day Tony's going to like invest in me. Like, that's really like an awful mentality, right? It's like, no, I love what you're doing. You're inspiring me. I'm getting game from you that I'm now using in my day to day. I better make sure I let you know. So I think me, Malala, Yara, any other friends I have who are in the public eye, we're not afraid of being each other's fangirls. Like, I'm not afraid of fangirling over my friends, because if I'm not your biggest fan, then who is? You know, like, I love you. I see the hard work you do. And I'll wake up randomly and Malala's posted me or Yara's posted me. I'm like, why? They're like, I don't know. I just woke up feeling inspired by you. And I'll do the same thing, because we're not afraid to like humble ourselves and say, you are the reason I'm doing this thing. Whereas a lot of people are. It's like, people are probably watching you that you've no idea they are, and they'll never tell you because they're like, oh, too big for that. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna say that's a weird thing about our culture. It's like, we just like, I don't know what it is about us as a people, but we're like, oh,
I don't look like a bag.
Like, exactly.
Ew, I hate that. And I mean, I don't know if you can tell from my personality, I can't hide what's on my mind. I really can't. So if I'm in a room with someone that I think, whoa, you're doing amazing, why would I not tell you? I find that so odd. Like, why would you not say it? What's going to come off you by spending like your social capital, like your social currency? Like, what is it? Nothing.
And as you said, it's interesting because people see that as a cost, but I think that's literally the biggest investment you can make, is just showing love. It costs nothing.
Yeah.
And I like the amount of people who are like my friends now, who I like saw them on the train and I was like, yo, like that coat is so cold. And we just got talking and then we whatever. And it's so interesting because I think that is something that we're really trying to build actively. It's like, I think we have in the Cheat Codes community chat, we have like a celebration chat or like a share your wins. We definitely like need to actually get people to do it more. But the principle underpinning it is like wanting to like share in everybody's successes.
Yeah. Your joy is my joy.
Exactly. I think that's something that like I do on my, like similar to you in my stories all the time, just because it's like, oh shoot.
I
like,
love that you do that.
You made that move. Like the amount of moves that I've made purely because I've seen someone else do a ridiculous chess move and I'm like, no.
And I love your language, like, because you talk quite like really cool, you know. You'd be like, oh yeah, this is hard, bro, like this game is da-da-da. So when you post me and you're like, oh, V's like running circles in the game, I'm like, yeah, I am, because it's running laps. Yeah, I'm like, ooh. And then you play the song, the Meek Mill song, I'm like,
yeah, Dreams and Nightmares gotta be in there.
Yeah.
Championships has gotta be in there.
I like it. I'm learning lingo from you.